We're going to talk the biggest position battles for the Oklahoma Sooners in fall camp coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jay, what is the biggest position battle facing the Oklahoma Sooners in fall camp?
I was listening to the Oklahoma breakdown, and a name that came up this past week with Gabe and Teddy, and a name that I heard going into the summer, and a name that I heard going into spring ball that we're going to hear a heck of a lot more about, John. Taylor Wein, the kid from Brentwood, Tennessee, the edge that was kind of an accidental find. He was basically a quote-unquote replacement for Colton Vasek, who flipped his commitment from Oklahoma to Texas after the Red River Shootout. Decided to stay home and be a legacy there. We haven't seen him yet, but Taylor Wein was one that surprised the coaching staff. I think they went there to look at a wide receiver and somehow saw him and was like, hey, who's this kid? Well, he's up to 275, and supposedly he's been stacking nonstop good days, John. So if there's a position I'm looking at for real, it's going to be that other edge spot right there next to our Mason Thomas, because we want to see Danny Okoye. He is the most athletic player on the team. Everybody says it. PJ Adebawari, the 5-star, has bulked up, got stronger, and he sounds like he's healthy. Then you got Taylor Wein, who's just coming out of nowhere on that side, who could be your Ethan Downs on steroids. Bruh, we got a lot of good competition out there, but I think that edge is going to be the most intriguing one for fall camp.
Well, and that doesn't even include Marvin Jones Jr.
At all.
A guy that had 5 sacks last year for Florida State. So that is going to be a really intriguing defensive end battle. R. Mason Thomas, when asked who's the defensive end that's going to break out this year, didn't hesitate. He said Taylor Wein.
Yep.
So he even put a number on it. He said, it would not surprise me to look up at some point in the season and see Taylor Wein with 5 sacks.
Yep.
So that's the expectations that R. Mason Thomas has because of the work that Taylor Wein's done this offseason.
High praise, man. A lot of high praise has gone his direction over the last couple of weeks. Everybody's raving about how talented he is and how good they think he's going to be. And so, John, to me, that's the position battle I'm very intrigued to see who ends up coming up on top and how that rotation goes. Because you got enough veterans with Marvin Jones Jr. and R. Mason Thomas, your 2 veterans, but the rest are young. And we know that after this season, the expectation is all Okoye, PJ, and Wein really being your 3 dudes because R. Mason and Marvin Jones will be gone. But, man, to have that type of look, I want to know how that's going to work out, because it'll be similar to like the Trace Ford year. You had Trace Ford, you had Caden Woolard, Ethan Downs, and all that rotations. I'm really intrigued to see how this turns out.
Well, somebody needs to step up, because you are going to lose R. Mason Thomas and you're going to lose Marvin Jones to the NFL next year. So you're going to have to replace that pass rush. So we need to find out who that's going to be now. 2025, somebody has to start showing out, breaking out, and it needs to be one of those guys. It doesn't have to be a 5-sack season. I mean, obviously that would be better than not, but if somebody comes out and they have 3 sacks, they post 6 tackles for loss, they play, 300 snaps, you can start projecting out what they might do with 400 or 500 snaps. You got to get them into the rotation. They've got to start contributing, because you're going to need them next year. Otherwise, you're going to have to go into the portal and you're going to have to look for a bona fide edge to come in and replace R. Mason Thomas.
Yep.
There's so many intriguing spots here, Jay, that I feel like we could go. Cornerback feels like one that I'm not sure what to make of it just yet. And some of it's going to depend on where Gentry Williams and Eli Bowen are in fall camp. What's their health status? Are they able to stay on the field? Are they able to practice regularly? Are they being held out more as precautionary versus they're dinged up again and we got to see what they're going to be capable of? Wide receiver is another one that I'm looking at that I don't know what to make of it beyond Deion Burks right now. outside of him, it's a bunch of question marks because Jaden Gibson's coming back. He's working his way back. Giovanni Gibson is working his way back. And then you have a bunch of guys that could contribute. But the one I'm going to go with here, Jay, I'm going to go with the tight end spot. And I know I've sat here and said that tight end doesn't matter. But I'm curious to see, are they going to go with the Will Huggins, who is maybe a little bit more of a blocker? Are they going to look to get a little bit more athletic in the passing game with Carson Kent or Jaren Kanak? How does that one transpire?
Yeah, that's going to be intriguing as well if you would go into the offensive side, because
I know I cheated and I picked like 4 different position battles, but
yeah, I mean, I think the tight end one's probably the one that's probably got your attention the most. It's gotten a lot of people's attention. We don't know who that player is that's going to break out, and so we're going to go ahead and give a hot take here real quick. I think the player that's going to end up breaking out, John, I think it's going to be Jaren Kanak. I think Kanak's going to be that athleticism he had, watching him in his film when he was in high school. I think he's going to take that film and he's going to lose his ever-loving mind out there, and we're going to see some good stuff from him there. So give me Kanak. I think that's going to be the one.
My bold take on it, Kaden Helms. That's another guy like a Taylor Wein that's received a lot of buzz, both from the coaching staff, from people getting sourced information. They've talked about how Kaden Helms is healthier than he's ever been at Oklahoma. He's looking as good as he's ever looked. And we know he's got the athleticism. We know he's got the size. Can I see 250 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns for a guy like Kaden Helms? If he gets significant playing time, yeah. I think you get him out there on the field, you get him into the pass concepts, and he's going to create problems in the passing game for opposing defenses. What's another like under the radar position battle that you're looking at?
I think another under the radar one that we're really just we're not talking as much of, but seems like it's going to be one of those fun ones, is going to be the D tackle spot. Jayden Jackson started last year as a true freshman, so there's a lot of hype there. We know David Stone is going to take a leap. That's the expectation there. Nigel Smith is put on weight, so he's ready to get out there. Grayson Halton is considered an NFL draft player. Dominic Williams is trying to get back into draft status. You've got a good 6 guys there with, Trent Wilson as well as Marcus Strong that all can compete for some time on the field from either 0 to 3 technique or even 4-eye. I'm very intrigued to see who are the 2 that starts and the 2 that rotates right behind them, because you're going to play. You're not going to want your D lineman to play over 300 snaps if you can avoid it. You want them to get out there, be effective, and then get off the field, especially as run stuffers and pass rushers. I'm curious to see who that 4-man rotation initially becomes.
Yeah, because you're going to play 4 guys at least, and if somebody's good enough, they're going to have 5 guys break into that rotation. But I think you're going to see the 4 that we've talked about the most, but it wouldn't surprise me to see a guy like Trent Wilson earn some playing time. I think they'll probably try to redshirt him, but you'll see him in some of these non-conference matchups because it's a great opportunity to get him some playing time. The under the radar one, center, Troy Everett seems to be everybody's kind of ho-hum pick at center, the guy that's solid and steady. But there's also been some buzz that Jake Michael could come in and challenge for that starting center spot. If he doesn't get it this year, I think that's okay. You still have him ready in the wings for 2026 to be your starting center next year. So it's going to be intriguing to see how that offensive line comes together, because again, Troy Everett's been a leader in that room all offseason, dating back to last season, being a part of that Alabama win. He's got the cachet with a lot of those guys in the room. Jake Michael would have to be like significantly better for them to, I think, remove Troy Everett from that starting spot, given the relationships that he's got with those guys on the offensive line, the good camaraderie that he's helped build. So I think it's going to be fascinating to see how that one plays out. But again, you could see like left guard being a battle this offseason, or in fall camp, you could see left tackle if Michael Fasusi continues to push, or if Jacob Sexton, Jake Taylor get banged up a little bit, you could see Michael Fasusi maybe try to make some waves over there, or Logan Howland. So again, it's intriguing because there are still some unknowns and you have a lot of potential options that you could play at different spots.
Yeah, the list is long on the potential out there. So it's going to be fun hearing the reports coming out of fall camp. Cannot wait till Wednesday when they post-practice interviews. It's going to be some intriguing stuff to hear.
Yep. All right, we're going to talk through some chaos scenarios coming up next here on Locked On Sooner.